I think I need to do a little reintroduction for people on here who I am. So I'm Lucy Biggers. Right now I'm the head of social media for the Free Press. But for 5 years of my 20s, I was a climate activist. I interviewed Greta Thunberg. I've interviewed AOC. I pushed ideas like the Green New Deal, plastic straw bans, plastic bag bans, anything you could think of that is like the typical climate activist. I pushed those things for half my 20s. In that time, I got a lot of value from being part of the group. I identified as a climate activist, and I thought I was on the right side of history and that these ideas were so important to push. Even during the time when I was really deep in the climate movement, I would have some questions like why we're protesting pipelines when, the pipelines were already approved. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. Or the fact that oil pipelines are better for the environment and safer than transporting these materials on trains, or, the idea that plastic has a lower carbon footprint than glass and wood. Like, I would sometimes see these contradictory facts, but my ideology and identification was so tied up in the group that when I would see those things, I would push them away. That all changed when I left my last job where I'd been in a visible role as a climate influencer, and I lived through COVID and I had my first son. And I think those two experiences of living through COVID and seeing the entire world shut down, plastic proliferated everywhere, but it was like not a big deal. And then our carbon emissions only dropping by maybe 5%, maybe it was like 20% at its peak, but barely making a dent in our climate emissions, even though the world was shut down. And that's when I started to think, what is the climate movement not wanting from us? Because if they want to get our emissions down to zero, that would require destroying our way of life. Then I read a book, Apocalypse Never by Michael Schellenberger, who's a former green activist, and then Steve Koonin, who's a scientist who worked for President Obama. He wrote a book called Unsettled, and it went into all the things that we don't understand about climate change. And it made me realize that this climate narrative, this black and white thinking that I was pushing, that climate change was an existential threat and that the world was going to be destroyed by it, was not true, and that the truth was much more complex. And ultimately, my biggest why is the young people, because young people have been taught this in school now for over a decade, if not 2 decades, if not more, honestly. And it's led to a mental health crisis. Young people are reporting having this sort of nihilism about their futures. They don't want to have kids. They're afraid. They think that modern society and capitalism, all these things, and fossil fuels, of course, are the downfall of our civilization, when it's kind of the opposite is true. And that we live in a really abundant, safe, prosperous time, and humans have never had more choice than they do now. So this idea that climate change is dangerous and that our systems are causing it, I want to throw it all out. And that's the point of this, is I want young people to have the full context. We're safer than ever, we're more prosperous than ever, climate change isn't dangerous, and there isn't a consensus on how much of it we can even control, and if the solutions like solar and wind even work.
This is a victory for the true believers.
Our budget is now in surplus. We are back in the black. We are back on track.
We will decide who comes to this country and the circumstances in which they come.
Socialists don't like ordinary people choosing, for they might not choose socialism.
Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc?
120 years ago, our country had the world's highest per capita income. What the hell happened?
Sit down! Sorry. The dog.
Ah! We're coming for you, globalist! Ah! Coming for you!
G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of Commanding the Narrative. My name is Stephen Tripp. Thank you for watching this, wherever you are watching this, and if you are on this tonight live, if you're joining us, please, we want to hear from you in the chat. On Rumble, Facebook, or YouTube. And if you are really feeling up to it, call in. It's just like Talkback Radio. Instead, we call it Talkback Streaming. And we want to talk to you. You can call in and ask a question or make a statement, have a rant if you want to. And most importantly, the best thing about tonight's episode is that you can actually call in and yell at Richard. I'm still waiting for someone to do that. It is going to make this podcast worth it if someone will please do that. But yeah, we're joined by the political animals. This is usually my favorite Commanding the Narrative when I have these two gentlemen on, believe it or not. Mr. Sam Buono and Mr. Richard Storch. How are you, gentlemen?
Stephen.
Hey, mate.
Good to be here.
Good to have you guys. Sam, how have you been? Life gets in the way, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm basically a full-time carer now.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the taxpayers of Australia, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Yeah. It's getting there, but some days are good, some days are bad.
No, I mean, Sam, 2 million carers in this country.
Is that many, is it?
Yeah. 2 million. Yeah.
John the Boy's in the chat. He said, "Hello, gents, and amazing opener." Well, thank you, John. Hopefully you enjoyed the new. It fires me up hearing that music more than the other. The other one was a bit placid, but I like the new music. How are you going, Richard? You went to a rally today?
I did, the women's rights rally.
Where's that?
Yeah, it was at Martin Place. Yeah, there's about 600 people, I think, there. They're coming and going, so it's hard to say. They moved it from Town Hall to Martin Place, which probably cut down the numbers. Yeah, which is the usual sort of dirty trick stuff that they do.
Yeah,
but you can still that's still a pretty between Phillip Street and Macquarie Street. You can still fit a couple thousand in there, honestly.
Yeah.
You sit on top of the hill and you go down and look down and stuff like that.
I suspect it's the cops that make the final call.
No doubt about that.
How it goes down and where it is and all the rest of it. And their main object is to separate us from the anti-trans people and the other activists that are usually counter-demonstrating.
Correct. Yeah.
Great unwashed, huh?
Oh, you have no idea. but there's still a couple of welcome to countries and stuff, and and one of the speakers talked about climate change, and it's just like, oh God, spare us.
All right, so John the Boy says, "I'm too nice, otherwise I might take it to Richard occasionally." Well,
bring it on.
He might spark something within you, John. And Dilemmas says, "Evening, gents." Dilemmas is in the chat as well, so it should be a good one tonight, having you boys with us.
Yes.
We want to hear from you definitely, but let's kick it off like we always do, and it's by directing you to commandingthenarrative.com, where you can keep up to date with everything that's been happening at the in the most recent weeks, and a lot has been happening, especially over the last weekend. We had a big event up in Gympie for ABG Empowered with Dr. Gary Johns, Katie McCallum, Scott Challen from the Australian Lobby Group, and of course my good friend Councillor Adam Zara. It was probably the best collection of speakers you could possibly find in Queensland. It was a great event. So that's up on Commanding the Narrative right now. You can check that out. And also 2 very important episodes, which was a tour, day 1 and day 2. Day 2 is probably the best one to check out. Check that one out first, which is the latest one, where Katie McCallum, Councillor Adam Zara, and myself, on behalf of Let's Rethink Renewals, did a tour out in the South Burnett region and also the Y-Bay area, looking at some pump hydro projects that are being proposed, the Woolooga solar project, and also a whole bunch of wind turbine projects that are really encroaching on people's land and making it a big deal for people. So, check those ones out. It's like the tour that we did of Dunedoo and those surrounding areas recently. So that's all up on the Commanding the Narrative website. Please share those around. They're important podcasts. We want to try and get those out there as best we can. If you want to know some of the other podcasts that we've done previously, that's up on the website as well. Last time Richard was here, we had Giselle Capterian on, and also the last podcast we did here was with Paul Vallejo, Natalie Jim, and Robert Nalbandian, where we talked about Fauci pleading the fifth 111 times.
Absolute disgrace.
Yeah, that's right.
Absolute disgrace.
All the articles I've written recently are up on the website as well. And if you want to know who's coming on the podcast this week, it's all at commandingthenarrative.com. You'll find it all up there. Now, if you want to contribute to us in any way, you can head to Buy Me a Coffee. Just type in Commanding the Narrative, Buy Me a Coffee, and it should come up. You can throw us a few dollars there. Helps to support us. And I'm out of money spending all my money on this studio, trust me. So if you can contribute in any way, it would help us to get some more gear, maybe some better cameras and some more lighting, which would be great. And it also helps me get a bit square as well, trying to build up some of my reserves that I've already burned through. I'm not used to burning through money, but I want to have a good space for us to do this podcast. So if you want to help out, please head to Buy Me a Coffee and throw us a few dollars there. Also, you can donate directly through the website as well if you don't want to go through Buy Me a Coffee. Now, also, I want to bring up the Light Australia newspaper. Now, there's a new issue of the Light out. This is issue number 25, and I'm actually in this twice. So if you head down to this article here, Fire the Liar, Albanese's broken promises and political deception. Check out that article. There's also some good articles by John Ruddick and some other
It's
people.
amazingly short.
They asked for 400 words. Yeah, I know.
I mean, the article about Albanese's broken.
I could have
could have filled up a whole issue.
I could have, I could have, but they'd restricted to 400 words. That's what it is.
My distributor around where I live I haven't seen one for a couple of months.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's also this article here as well, why the Snowy Hydro 2 cannot be stopped despite the cost blowout. So I thought we might need the heater, but global boiling is sorting it out for us. So, please check out the Light Australian newspaper and distribute it far and wide. You can sign up to be a distributor on the website. As Sam said, he hasn't seen it in his areas much recently. So maybe if you live in North Sydney, you need to get on there and start being a distributor, mate. Maybe you can do some of that in your spare time. Not that you have much lately. And lastly, I want to make a big announcement. Now, I was on the Mike Ryan show this week, speaking on his platform, The Pulse. So check out that interview. We talked about current political events, but I also announced that Mike Ryan has asked me to do a weekly show on his platform. It's going to be on Tuesdays between 3 and 4. So if you want to follow The Pulse on YouTube, you'll be able to get that show on there, and you'll be able to keep up with my new show. I'll still be doing Command the Narrative, but it's exciting that I'll be moving to his platform as well, and it'll be a little bit different than a podcast. It'll be, I guess, more like radio, where we have segments, and I'll be having multiple guests on throughout that hour. So help support me and Mike and independent media in Australia by heading to The Pulse on YouTube. They've also got a website, thepulse.today, and you can follow us there and I guess go along that journey as well. So
congratulations, Stephen.
Thanks, mate. Should be interesting. We'll see how it goes. It might last 1 week. We'll see.
Oh, I think I think they'll keep you.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. John says, setup looks great too, Steve. Nice work. Thank you, John. Hopefully next time you're in Sydney, you can join us and join us on the show. Yeah. Okay, all right. So let's get on with the show. We've got some big news to cover. Now, I guess the first thing that we need to cover is this Matt Keogh.
Yep.
Matt Keogh,
the Veteran Affairs Minister. He's also the Minister for Defence Personnel, and he is a minister. Well, he was elected in the Western Australian seat of Burt, where he was elected in 2016.
Yeah.
So he's been in the parliament for quite some time. He's been a minister since 2022. You'd think he'd have some experience, but he has really disrespected some veterans.
Oh, he's gone further than that.
Yeah.
John Armfield, who's the veteran that has had dealings with him, said that he got up in Parliament and said stuff that just wasn't true.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, he's basically misled Parliament in that if that's the case, and he should go. He should just go. Period. End of story.
Well,
I mean, I have no idea why there's suddenly this tolerance for politicians misleading Parliament. There should be zero tolerance.
Well, who's going to hold them to account?
Well,
it should be the media.
If they can't govern themselves, maybe we need to get someone who can.
I think it's.
It sounds like a job for the Governor General.
Well,
she's not going to interfere with that.
That's not going to happen.
Well, what are we paying for? I'm just illustrating that there is a large gap between the performance of the politicians and our public expectations. There's a huge gap. There's got to be a solution.
Andrew Cannell on Sky, I couldn't believe what he said. He said he's just an idiot.
Now explain that, because I didn't know this. He's a former Labor man, right?
He worked as a Labor person in where he's originally from Perth.
This is Cannell,
Andrew Cannell.
Yeah.
He basically started 30 years ago or 25 years ago.
And he called him an idiot on air.
Moron.
He called him a whole bunch of things.
Yeah. An idiot, moron, and stuff. I couldn't. Yeah.
I've never heard him do that.
He stumbled.
I agree with you.
He thought, am I going to say this or not? But he just let the words out. I thought, God.
And Peter was in shock too.
Yeah, that's right.
Peter Credit was in shock. Wow.
And he basically said that
I think it's talent. Maybe it's an old payback from years ago in Perth.
I think Clennell's just got jack of politicians lying to him.
Yeah.
He knows they're lying. Yeah. They know they're lying, and he's sick of it.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear more from the veterans themselves. This is, Matt Canavan organised this press conference in the Parliament. I'll play this clip now.
Also, David Shootridge from the Greens was there too.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Well, he's pretty good on some issues. We've got to give him
Well,
that.
I've got to say, you talked to from State Parliament. You talked to Mark Latham, and he said
if he gives his word, he keeps it.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's either yes or no, and he keeps his word.
Yeah. Well, I guess we have to acknowledge the Greens when they do good things.
There's some sensible one. They're few and far between.
Yeah, that's right.
This is one of the few that's got a full brain instead of half a brain.
All right, let's hear from the veteran before you guys cut in again.
We're all here today because we've lost complete faith in the Department of Veteran Affairs. Yesterday confirmed that lack of leadership. It confirmed for us that lack of trust. Minister Keogh was forced to have a meeting with us at 5:30. It was obvious he did not want to be there. He even let us know that he was wishing an appointment with the Governor General, which he was very upset about. He walked into the room, refused to shake our hand, sat down with his arms crossed and rolled his eyes when we started telling him about the effect that this cap already is having on veterans. About 4 veterans who have already committed suicide as a result of the introduction of the information of this cap. We have no confidence that the Department of Veteran Affairs will be able to instigate this cap, and it needs to be scrapped. Furthermore, it is not limited to this cap. The Department of Veteran Affairs is rolling out administrative processes across the board that are detrimental to veterans' well-being. It needs to be investigated. It needs to be stopped. It needs to be fixed by strong leadership. That leadership does not exist at present within the department.
Strong stuff.
Yeah, so that's basically what the veteran had to say.
Yeah,
they're all saying it. It's not just him.
Yeah.
You know, there's like.
Well, he was the one that, in my opinion, he spoke.
There's a complete consensus.
Yeah.
So the minister is obviously incompetent. If he's getting that kind of response after 4 years in the job, he can't be competent.
What do you think, Sam?
Well, should he be a minister?
Well,
does he
obviously
need
not.
to resign?
Obviously not.
Problem is, Albo's got this Dan Andrews mentality. Don't give your opposition, don't give anyone a win.
Mm.
And if they sack someone, it's a win for the opposition, or a win for someone.
And what did Richo say? Never hang on to a mug; he'll take you down.
That's true, but
right. I'll back Richo's judgment against Albo's every day of the week.
Yeah, but in this case, they're all going from Dan Andrews' theories.
Yeah,
eventually, eventually will bring him down, but
let's see where Dan Andrews ends up.
Yeah. The point I'm trying to say, a lot of these theories, since the no vote, he's transformed all that sort of stuff like that.
I know you're saying that Albo won't sack him, but should he sack him?
No, no doubt about it. He should be sacked.
Should be sacked.
Yeah.
As a minister.
Well, he's lost the confidence of everyone in his portfolio.
He should sack himself personally, but after
should resign. I mean, if he had a decent an ounce of decency, he would resign.
Well, that
and you're like, how could you? It doesn't matter where you are in the parliament. If you're a parliamentarian, even if a veteran walked in here and sat down on that over there, you'd shake their hand.
Yeah.
This guy is the Veteran Affairs Minister. He's also the Defence Personnel Minister. He should be shaking every single veteran's hand and also active members of servicemen's hand. I mean, what's he doing? Like rolling his eyes and being disdainful. It's just a disgrace.
Yeah.
This is the level of conceit that someone like that has. And it's clearly, I've got this job to do. You don't appreciate how hard my job is. Not how can I serve you? What can I do to help? It's not like that. It's like, I'm important and I've got this job to do. I've been given a task to cut expenditure. This is just something that has to happen. And I know what I'm doing, and don't tell me anything.
Are we getting to
that's the attitude?
Are we getting to a point where the Albanese Labor government is becoming arrogant? I mean, all all governments do to a point.
It's beyond arrogance. This is conceit. This is, I know what I'm doing. I've got the information. You just do what you're told.
Yeah.
This is next level. This is not just arrogance like, oh, well, I'm important.
Because you got to remember, like, yeah, okay, they've only been in for 2 terms, but a lot of the people that were in the government,
senior
except for Matt Keogh wasn't there, but senior people, this is their second time in government. They were part of the Rudd Gillard.
Yeah, and they were failures first time around.
Well, they're still failures, but I mean, they've been there a long time. They probably think they rule the roost.
Look at Penny Wong. I mean, she's a 2-time failed minister, and then she's been given the job of foreign minister, which is the easiest job, and she screwed that up.
Yeah,
totally. Everyone hates us.
Is it
with good reason?
Is it hubris of 94 seats?
Oh,
that's
totally.
what I'm asking. Is it?
I think it is.
They've had such
102 if you count the Teals.
They've had such an easy ride up until now.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't had any challenge really. I mean, who's challenged them? And apart from losing the voice referendum, there's been no real challenge come from anywhere.
No.
There's no by-elections to. They had no
shake them up. Yeah.
And look, their biggest rival at the moment is One Nation, and they're probably thinking, well, they're going to fall over. We've got this next election won.
Well, you're right. They don't take One Nation seriously at all.
Yeah,
I think they do.
Oh, I don't think
what
they
makes
do
you
yet.
think that, Sam?
I spoke to a state MP about 2 weeks ago.
A Labor or a Liberal?
A Liberal.
Well, then that's not
he
Labor.
Was talking to a Labor MP in Macquarie Street.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what he was saying? Our Liberal Party aren't our opposition. It's One Nation.
Yeah. Well,
in the Hunter Valley, Western Sydney, Central.
As my father used to say, in the kingdom of the blind, the man with one eye is king. So you've got one Labor MP that's opened one eye. I can assure you that Albanese still says to people that challenge him 94 seats and leaves it at that.
Well,
that's the level of.
Well, that's what their supporters say in social media. Like when you read their posts, their only defense to anything is 94 seats, 94 seats. I mean, they love it.
Well, is that their professional or their bots doing that?
Probably.
Who knows these days? You can't pick the bots. I mean,
I think, and this, I think we spoke to you about it the other week on the phone.
Yeah.
How come the Teals are talking about One Nation?
Hey, I was telling you that. Now you're stealing my stuff.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked.
No,
why would they be worried about One Nation?
Because I think
Farah scared them.
It's not just that. I mean, you tell us all the time everything that the Teals do is based on polling.
That's right.
So obviously their polling is suggesting that One Nation is a threat, even in Teal electorates. Because why would they be concerned about others?
I can't be convinced of that.
Well,
I really can't.
Farah and some polling, I've been told. I've been told of a poll, and
this is an internal poll. Yes,
an internal poll on the north side of Sydney.
Oh, really?
God, you can't help yourself. I thought you were meant to keep that secret. He said, I better not tell. I don't want to lose my contact. Here he is spilling his guts as always.
Dr. Sophie could be in a bit of trouble.
You can't tell Sam a thing.
No, they're just saying that some polling that, and I think it's competition. It's competition for the protest.
How about this, Sam? John the Boy says, we need some inside ball, not street talk, Sam. Spill your guts.
No, I can't that one. It's come from an MP.
Yeah. No, you got to keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, if ever there was going to be a north side suburb that would have a significant minority One Nation vote, it'd be Pittwater. McKellar. Yeah.
My poll's not based around McKellar, that's for sure.
Well, I guess look,
no.
The big test will be the New South Wales election, which is rapidly approaching. I mean, we're already at the end of August.
Yeah, it's only 7 months to go.
Thank God winter is over, but come March, it's going to be upon us.
And it's starting to heat up in Victoria.
Victoria's already starting to heat up, which we will get to. We will talk about Victoria at the end of the show.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll move on to, how much can we talk about this Matt Keogh stuff? I mean, it was so easy. When I was doing the thumbnail for the show, I was looking for photos of him, and every photo he looks like a complete loser, like a complete goober. Like he wouldn't why do we elect these people into our parliaments and then give them ministries?
Because they're party hats.
I mean, they're horrible, horrible people that just would not achieve anything in life, and they're the ones in Canberra.
Yeah, I mean he's probably a second-rate solicitor.
He's probably a second-rate human being.
Yeah, I mean, and he thinks he's someone special.
Obviously,
Problem too is that I read something the other day. Problem with the Labor Party is because of the factional deals, and you've got to get a minister. You've got to get people. 3 people in Tasmania, 2 people in Western Australia, 2 people in South Australia, and you've got to divvy up the dividends.
Well, this is a perennial problem. Even with 94 seats, the talent pool is very, very shallow.
Okay.
I think it's deep in some areas, but they've got to distribute into South Australia, Western Australia.
Answer me this, Sam. Okay, so the Labor Party's struggling with talent. What will happen to One Nation if they do win all these seats?
No one knows.
No one knows, and no one cares. It's like anything would be better than what we've got. That's the attitude of just about everyone that's intended.
What about? I don't agree with this comment from John the Boy, but John the Boy asks a question, or he actually makes a statement. We need non-compulsory voting. People do not know who they are voting for. Well, I think that's the fault of the voter, not educated.
As a libertarian, John, you've just put music to my ears. You know?
I agree.
It's like non-compulsory voting all day and every day.
Well, my generation and our generation are used to being compulsory voting, and I think it's your democratic right.
Yeah, I think it's too important. And I think to give up one Saturday every 3 years for a federal election, one Saturday every 4 years for a state election.
Well, you know the argument against that, do you?
Go on.
The argument is that my vote, I will vote. So I want the value of my vote enhanced by having a whole lot of deadheads not vote. So there you go.
So you're being selfish as usual.
These days, it's not Saturday now. You've got 2 weeks pre-polling.
Dilemma says, even if you took Labor's economic at face value, the way they stomp on people's personal freedoms is reason enough not to vote for them. So he's basically saying, even though the fact that they're ruining the economy, they're also ruining our freedoms.
That's true.
David, if you're looking for an argument, you're not going to find one.
You're all in agreement there. All right. So yeah, I can't really say much more about this Matt Keogh other than he should resign. If he had any decency, he would resign. If he had any decency, he would have shaken these men's hand to begin with, and he wouldn't be in this hot water. But obviously, he's arrogant. Obviously, as Richard said, he's conceited. And he's just a disgrace in my opinion.
And if Albanese had a backbone, he'd fire him.
Yeah, well, he should fire. I mean, the Westminster system, he should be gone.
I mean, remember how many ministers Howard sacked in his first 2 terms?
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a procession of by-elections and sackings and demotions and, Yeah. I mean, he just didn't waste any time. If someone was bringing the ship, making the ship take on water, it was like, you're gone.
This is how Labor operates.
Yeah.
There's an MP in Victoria, a Labor MP. He's a member for, actually, I think in Pakenham. She got diagnosed with MND.
Yep.
About 18 months ago.
Motor neuron disease. Yeah. And she's still there.
Well, she went all the way to the end of the Parliament. If you've got MND, can't you just resign and retire? And
well, that would be the merciful thing.
This is my conspiracy theory: is that the Labor said to her, "Just sit in the back bench. We don't need we don't need a by-election.
They don't need the bad press."
And we don't care.
By-elections are dynamite now.
Yeah.
And we don't.
No one
care.
knows what's going to happen in the by-election.
Well, especially since One Nation won the last one. What's going to happen in the Western Australian by-election? That's next Saturday, right?
No one. I know money. Labor spent $1 million on it
in a state by-election.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that tells you they're worried.
Yeah, they are worried, but I still think they'll hold on. 11% margin's a big margin.
Not in the by-election, it's not.
And it's a Melbourne Cup field, typical Labor tactics.
There's about
16
5 or 6 independents, right?
Independents, I think it's be thrown in by the Labor Party, personally.
Yeah, right.
But I think they'll hold on, but basically what the informal vote will be.
Yeah, well, I can understand how Albanese's not holding Matt Keogh to account, because he should be holding himself to account, especially after this Bush Deep podcast, which we spoke about when we had Councillor Steve Christou and Adam Zara on the show. So this is a post by 2GB And it
Been
says,
boredom.
Albo got to do better. Albo finally admits podcast mistake. So the post says, Anthony Albanese has finally owned up to a mistake. The PM has admitted he should not have appeared on a controversial podcast. He says he's got to do better. Well, I mean, I don't think the point is that he shouldn't have appeared on there. I mean, I don't have a problem with him going on there. He just should have conducted himself better. He should have been able to control himself better. He was like a little horny school kid on there.
Well, I've been told by people we all know that he was no angel in Canberra 20 years ago and stuff like that.
Yeah.
His nickname was Naked Albo.
Naked Albo.
Yeah.
Gross.
Mark Latham said on a tweet the other day.
Yeah.
Like he's living up to Naked Albo.
Yeah, right.
If Mark's tweeting it, so might as well say it.
I just think, and I think I said this on the previous podcast, I mean, he's got this bush Barbie sitting there right opposite him. She's dressed how she's dressed. And he's probably thinking to himself, oh, I'm in with a shot here.
That's right.
I mean, it was disgusting.
Well, I say I've known a few more stories. Mark told me a few more stories about him too. So,
okay,
of a sexual nature too.
John the Boy says, how many months later? So, how long did it take Albo to finally apologise or at least admit that he made a mistake?
You got to give him time. He's got a small brain.
He's got a small brain. Dilemma says, Labor was sitting pretty till the first shot rang out at Bondi. Now the wheels are falling off.
I think that's true. I think that was and the way they handled it, of course, was appalling. You know, I mean, denying that the Royal Commission was necessary was just dumb.
You'll have to know in 20 years' time what was the logic behind it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
20 years' time when
they write the memoirs.
Cabinet files come out.
Yeah, okay.
After 20 years.
Yeah.
But there'll be some books come out when they finally get out of government, and a few of the ministers will say the truth and stuff.
Could be 12 months.
If they want to target him, or there's some. That's the problem. There's no dissent. There's no dissent. They're rock solid. They might be whinging internally, but he's got such tight discipline. All those bloke people like Bowen and Burke, Plebiscite, all the one Wong. They saw what happened with Gillard Rudd. And first thing in government is to be disciplined.
Do you think they could hang on to him too long? And he'll take them down for the next election.
Will he do a Dan Andrews and say, "I'll leave when I'm ready to leave"? And when he thinks he's
not that smart. I mean, you're talking about a massive difference in IQ. I mean, Albo's as thick as.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't even talk.
So what's he got to go? At least Danny Andrews probably said, well, I'm going to be a lobbyist for China. What's Albo got after this?
I think Dan Andrews was what didn't leave. He was running away from the things that were catching up to him.
No doubt, but he could, he left at the right time.
John the Boy says, still on Windows 4 in Albo's head. Was there a Windows 4? I didn't think there was a Windows 4.
I don't remember. I was a Luddite when Windows 4
didn't just start at Windows 95. I have to look that up. Was there a Windows 4? Okay, all right. John, you weren't even born then, so what are you going to
He's just being provocative. Give him his due.
All right, well, let's talk about some issues that really impact people, and that's the economy. And, of course, we've been talking about the economy on the show for quite some weeks now because it's really starting to bite. People are really starting to feel the effect of the economy, and I can tell because everyday people you bump into on the street or at work or in a shop are starting to really comment on the situation. So this is an article from realestate.com.au, and it says Reserve Bank faces new pressure to pause rate hikes as unemployment rises again. So it says, so the data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics released Thursday showed the unemployment rate inched up to 4.5% in July, growing from 4.4% in June. The rise, while minor, was a further signal of slowing economic activity coming off the back of recent falls in household spending, slowing GDP growth, and sluggish business investment. It also indicated a wider shift in labour market conditions. Unemployment has been steadily rising over the past 4 years and is now well above the 3.4% rate recorded in July 2022. There are now 691,500 unemployed people in Australia, which is a lot. Hell of a lot of people of unemployed. And Aussies are working fewer hours than they did at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Now, this is worrying for me because I thought the unemployment rate was something that the Albanese government could at least hang their hat on because they've been pumping up the bureaucracy and the public service and trying to get people employed.
And
that
the
way.
care economy.
Yeah, that's right. But even with that, the unemployment rate is still going up, which is really showing that the economy is in the skids.
And Victoria's got the highest. It's got a 5 on it, 5.1%.
Wow,
it's the highest in the country.
Yeah. Well, this is the hidden agenda of poor productivity, is that your small businesses are not generating employment, which is where your majority of employment comes from.
Yeah.
And it's like when any discussion about productivity always ignores the impact on unemployment.
What will
another thing? I spoke to a person my local flower person.
Oh yeah.
Where I live, an Italian guy I've known for years. We've
Me too.
Found, and he, suddenly, instead of $50 roses, it's the $32 ones.
Yep.
Or the $25 ones.
It's trading down.
Except for they'll still spend the $50 on Mother's Day and Father's Day.
Yeah, but it's a luxury discretionary purchase. It's the first thing that gets hit.
Discretionary spending. Is the first sacrifice.
Yeah, you'll find that with things like jewelry stores and perfume and upmarket bars and stuff like that.
Correct.
They'll be the first to get hit.
Instead of 15, instead of 2 gin and tonics, it might be only 1.
And they'll also be the first people to start laying off people.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So, Richard, tell us, I mean, what does this mean for the economy now that we're seeing unemployment rise as well?
I think that it's still a distraction away from the main game, which is inflation. And this government has let inflation out of the bottle.
Yeah.
And trying to get it back in is a really big deal.
What's it, 3.6 at the moment?
No, it's 4.
No, it's 4.
Underlying or the headline rate?
It's different, yeah.
What's the C? The C something?
The Reserve Bank wants it under 3.
That's correct,
and it hasn't been under 3 for 4 years.
And it's been sticky at 3.7 or 3.6.
And the problem is that they'd like to sort of ease interest rates to stimulate the economy, but they can't
because the government spending.
Because it'll just fuel inflation.
That's right.
And it's actually a test of the Reserve Bank's independence, because I think it's not independent anymore. Because it should be jumping on this, jumping interest rates up to,
I'm not convinced that it is independent anymore, because I'm convinced.
I agree with you, Sam. That's what I'm saying.
That interest rate cut before the 25 election should never be cut.
Yeah.
I think it's a political.
And all it did was fuel inflation that had to be crunched even harder down the track.
But it just gave a psychological boost to a person saying, "Oh, he's cut the interest rates by 0.25."
Yeah. Well, everyone
a month before the election.
Yeah, and then Chalmers got up and waved his flag and said, "Look at the great job we're doing."
That's right.
John the Boy says, definitely here in Melbourne, people that can afford to buy are buying further out metro and rural too, and everyone else lamenting how they'll never be able to buy. So, I mean, the same thing.
And that's the easiest housing market in Australia.
Melbourne.
It's the most depressed. It's the most. It's the one that hasn't grown in price.
So many state taxes and stuff.
Yep.
They're just ridiculous in Victoria.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So this is another. I mean, I'm starting to see a lot of stuff. I don't know if it's just the analytics feeding me or the algorithms feeding me stuff because I tend to click on this sort of stuff. But I'm getting a whole bunch of charts and things come up on my my feeds. Now this one. It says why you feel poor in Australia, and it's got 1995 compared to 2026. So in housing, the housing price was 150,000 in 1995. Now it's over $1 million. Your weekly rent in 1995 was $140 per week. Now it's $640 per week. And these are just averages that they've worked out from the Australian Bureau of Statistics and some other places. Your median salary in 1995 was $30,700 per year. Now it's $74,100. Bills, your electrical bill was $700 a year in 1995. Now it's like that a quarter. Now it's up to $2,600 per year. Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Petrol was 73 cents a litre. I remember those days. In 1995, now it's up to over $2. Everyday costs, groceries, $80 a week. Can you imagine that in 1995? Now it's $240 a week. I think it's even worse than that.
Oh, it's worse than that.
Coffee was $2 compared to $6 now. A loaf of bread was $1.50 compared to $4.50 now. A cinema ticket was $7.17. Now it's up to $24. I haven't been to the cinema. I haven't been to the cinemas for a long time. I wouldn't pay it.
Discretionary purchase.
I wouldn't pay that.
Movies, going to a movie, yeah.
Beers $2 were $2.20, now up to $11. I mean, I don't drink, but that's a lot of money for a beer.
First time I went to a pub was in July of 1981.
Yeah.
It was 36 cents a schooner.
36 cents.
But in those days, the afternoon paper was 9 cents the Sun and 10 cents the Mirror.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember those days. And a dinner for two was $45 in 1995. I don't know where they got that number from. They reckon it's $90 now. So you can see the inflation.
Was that this upgrade from McDonald's, is it?
I guess so. I don't know. Inflation spiraling out of control.
That's the problem. Inflation.
Let's look at the relationship between inflation and superannuation. It's like the government's trumpeting that your generation, the millennials, will retire with $2 million worth of super. Well, what'll that be worth in today's dollars?
Well, we'll get to super. We'll get to super in a minute because I know you want to talk about super a lot. John the Boy says, I remember when petrol was $1.12. I'll tell my kids about that one day. We can go back even further. I remember 70 cents.
I remember in the late 80s it was 49 cents. I remember.
Yeah, right.
When I got my license, it was 22 cents a litre.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No,
yes, it was.
22 cents a litre.
I got my license in 1977.
Wow. Okay. No, I mean, it goes to show that inflation doesn't matter what government's in.
Yeah.
It's been going out of control for a very long time. It's not just Albanese, but it seems to be accelerating now. This is another chart that was put out by the Liberal Party, and the Liberal Party is starting to put out some good charts. It says, fact, Australia is one of only 3 developed countries where interest rates haven't come down in the past 2 years. And you can see there that 2 years ago, the interest rate here in Australia was 4.35%, which it currently still is. But in the euro area, it was 4.25. Now it's down to 2.4. In the United States, it was 5.5. Now it's down to 3.75. Canada was at 4.5. Now down to 2.25. United Kingdom was at 5. Now down at 3.75. And New Zealand was at 5.5%. Now down to 2.5%. So, Richard, why
inflation?
Why are those countries not dealing with inflation like we are?
Well, exactly. That's the point. They've actually handled the problem, whereas we've avoided it. Look, it's that simple.
They haven't put up interest rates high enough, quick enough earlier on.
Yeah, right.
Very true, Sam. Yep. They didn't. We hesitated and didn't take action.
I think it started from the pandemic when they printed all that money and they didn't.
But other governments did too. Australia wasn't the only country.
But we didn't up interest rates where other countries did.
Yeah.
We obviously needed to deal with the problem more harshly than they did, and we didn't.
Do you think the problem was that we'd gone through such a period of strong economic management where we were the envy of the world, so we had this full sense of security?
Yep, I think you're very perceptive with that. I think there was a lot of complacency and a lot of faith in the resilience of the Australian economy, and what people have failed to account for is that small business has been bashed pretty hard.
Correct.
For the last 15 years with things like the unfair dismissal laws.
Yeah.
So and they have been encouraged not to grow, not to expand, and not to employ.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. It's not just these issues. We've talked about the employment rate. We've talked about inflation. Now it's housing as well. I mean, every aspect of the economy is faltering, and I think we're headed for a brick wall. I've said that before, and I'll say it now.
I think Alba has dreams of not leaving any part of the economy untouched.
They're just smashing everything. They're smashing everything. This is Tom Panos, who I played on the podcast last time. Let's hear from him because he's making some good comments.
I'm about to say something really controversial. At first, I thought it sounded like a conspiracy theory. Now I'm not so sure. From the 1st of July 2027, the capital gains tax system changes.
Yeah.
The value of an investment property on that date effectively becomes the dividing line between the old CGT and the new system. Now listen, that valuation could be worth an enormous amount of money, because the lower your property is valued on the 1st of July 2027, the more future growth could fall into the new tax regime if property prices recover. So here's the question nobody seems prepared to ask. Does the government actually have an incentive to see property prices pushed down before valuation day? Look at what's happening. Policies discouraging everyone to buy, changes to negative gearing, the removal of the CGT discount, a 30% minimum tax on real capital gains, and the government language that almost celebrates property prices falling. Individually, every policy comes with an explanation, but all the pieces together and a disturbing picture begins to appear. Drive property prices down before July 2027, lock investors into lower starting valuations, then when the market eventually recovers, capture a bigger share of that future growth through capital gains tax. Can I prove that this the strategy the government is doing? No. And I'm not going to pretend that I can, but governments understand tax revenue, they understand valuations, and they certainly understand how cycles work. I started out thinking this was a conspiracy theory, but when the incentives, the timing and the policies all point in one direction, Aussies has every right to ask the uncomfortable questions, because on the 1st of July 27, this may not simply be a date in your calendar. This could become the most expensive valuation Australian property investors they have ever faced. Speak to a qualified accountant or advisor about your personal circumstances.
All right, what do you think, guys?
Yeah, well, there's certainly there will be something that the Labor government will seize upon, but I haven't really looked into it too hard. But no,
but he explained it pretty well.
Yeah, he explained it pretty well.
But I think he's wrong. I mean,
he's wrong.
Yeah, I think he's presuming that there's a strategy or a plot or a design, and it's like these people aren't capable of that kind of effort. You know, they don't know what they're doing. So, never assume malice when the stupidity is a much more reasonable option. They have no idea what they're doing. I mean, they are reintroducing policies that Paul Keating tried in 1985 and had to rescind 2 years later. It's like, I mean, for Paul Keating to admit he was wrong, think about that.
Do you think they'll rescind this time around, though? I don't think
they'll get the chance. I think they'll be thrown out first.
Yeah.
I mean,
but who's going to replace them?
The thing is, I just had my house valued, and it cost $3,000 to be told it wasn't worth as much as I thought it was, which I was quite happy about. But but I mean, that's what every property investor is going to have to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, if otherwise you might be stuck with a capital gains tax liability that could be hundreds of thousands.
Look, I think it just shows how lucky we've been in the last decades. I mean, you guys can remember the Keating era and tough economic times. My generation can't remember that stuff. I mean, I was young, I can remember it, but a lot of the younger ones, they don't know what's coming. And this stuff that he's talking about wouldn't even be considered by most people, because they've just gone along thinking, oh, well, we're looked after because we're lucky to live in this country and we do have good economic management here. We don't have good economic management anymore at a federal or state level, and we are starting to feel the pain of that. But I don't think people will know how to handle it. And we go,
well, you're an exception to your generation, but most millennials and Gen Z will get a horrible shock when they get faced with the realities when they inherit.
Yeah.
Because that's the big payday for government. That's when all the tax liabilities get realised. It's like you inherit your parents' super, and some of it's not preserved, 17.5%. It's like a de facto death case. CGT on the holiday home. It's just like come in.
They've just got their grubby hands in everything, don't they? And a lot of this stuff has been taxed.
This is the whole insidiousness of it. It's like the government has just been taking one short hair after another, and finally it's like someone wants to go, no way, you're coming this way.
All right, let's talk about super, because this is something that you wanted to talk about, Richard. I mean, this is another area that we need to talk about when it relates to the economy. Now, this is an article in the Capital Brief. It says, okay, this one's going to be interesting. Jim Chalmers hits back at One Nation, says rivals want to destroy superannuation. So, Treasurer Jim Chalmers has hit back at One Nation leader Pauline Hanson's calls to lighten up superannuation access rules to assist people in times of crisis, such as repaying their mortgages. Posting on X and sharing a clip of a segment on News 24, Chalmers said One Nation wants to destroy the compulsory superannuation system just like the Liberals and the Nationals. He said his political rivals are all a threat to the retirement incomes and economic security of Australian workers. Well, that's the pot calling the kettle black. Labor built Australia's super system and will always defend it, he said. Richard, okay, what? Okay, talking about destroying the economy, this is the guy who's pulling all the levers currently, and we're talking about how badly the economy's going. Yeah. How can he possibly criticize anyone when it comes to economic management?
Oh, he manages. I mean, he's a shameless liar. So yeah. I mean, every time he looks down the camera and says something, it's like he's usually lying. And he's a posturing, conceited fool, because he doesn't even know that he doesn't know. He just makes stuff up as he goes along. So I mean, he's got pretty much a pathology in terms of deceit, I think. But in terms of superannuation, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, what she's asking for is so modest.
Well, basically what she's saying is if you are struggling to pay your mortgage,
you should have early
you should be able to get access to your super just to be able to cover those repayments. I mean, don't lose your house. I mean,
there's two things.
I mean,
there's two things to this.
Okay.
But first of all, New Zealand have a pension system which is far superior in terms of overall returns and security for low income earners, right? And the second thing is, there's a really strong argument that it shouldn't be compulsory anyway because people can use their money better. And the third thing is that the Liberals actually had quite an enlightened policy to allow people to use their superannuation to diminish their mortgage, and that could have been handled like a loan. But I think it actually should be $250,000.
See, I think it's dangerous to take money out of your super because I do think the super companies do handle the investment side of things well. But if you're about to lose your house and you can't make repayments and you've got this money sitting in super that could potentially save you from losing your house,
it's very valid.
You should be able to use it, don't you think, Sam?
Yeah. It's still your money. It's like, this is the problem. Albanese's actually started talking about superannuation being a national asset. It's not a national asset. It belongs to individuals.
Yeah.
And this is the critical shift in thinking. It's like, oh, we've got all this money here. We know what to do with it. No, you don't. That's the really dangerous mindset. But in terms of super funds returns, I'm actually very apprehensive of their overinvestment in commercial office space. That's a house of cards.
Because the problem with that is it doesn't get valued they don't value it every year. So if you own a building in Martin Place,
it's a bit more insidious than that, Sam. Yeah, they buy it, then they revalue it, and then they don't value it again for another 10 years.
Correct. But
so no one really knows what it's worth.
I know a banker lives near me. He said to me, "That's the problem with the industry super funds in that part of it. They don't reassess that asset every 12 months. So that building in Martin Place might be worth 200 million." It's 200 million for the next 5 years.
Yeah, but they might have revalued it for 400 million.
And no one knows. Or at 100 million, where it's proper value, because their rental, it's based on that 20-story building, and that is only 40% occupied, and the other 60% is not occupied. Well, your rental, your yield is much lower.
Well, this has been going on for centuries.
Therefore, your value is much lower.
This has been going on.
The problem with industry super funds don't do that. They say it's worth $100 million, and it's still worth $100 million.
No, I think they overvalue to make their returns look.
My issue is they don't value it every year,
like private super funds.
Correct.
Do. Yes,
Correct.
I agree.
If that building they bought for $100 million, and it's suddenly, I say, 40% is occupied, and the other 60 is unoccupied, and according to their yield and what they're getting in, if it's based on a 4% yield, it's worth, instead of worth $100 million, it should be downgraded to 60.
Yeah, I agree.
Or vice versa, it could be upgraded to 150 million if the building is all full.
I agree, but my point is that we don't have anything like that kind of probity.
That's right.
Right, and this is all about the heads of the people that are running the super funds getting their performance bonuses.
Correct.
right? Millions of dollars in extra pay.
And the problem is
Right.
a lot of the super funds now don't really invest in companies. What they do is, have you heard of ETFs?
Yep.
Basically, they strike like 10 past 4 every day. The AA robot say that the index has gone down by 1% in New York, but it's gone up by 2% in Australia. And they just take the calculations all down. Oh, we've gone up by 0.1% today.
Yeah, but there's something
not a lot of work behind it.
But there's something that I
They're
really
still charging 1%.
There's something that I really distrust about super in general. And one of the guys that I work with at work, he loves to get on those calculators where it shows you how much super you're going to get at the end.
Yeah,
and
he's got an app.
We're all the guys I work with. They're all similar age, all early to mid 40s, and he works out that we'll at least get about $2 million by the time we retire. Now, I just can't imagine a whole generation of men and women walking around with suddenly having $2 million in their pocket. And you're saying that it might not be worth much in that.
Well, what if it's still worth 600 grand?
Yeah, but if inflation's moving up, then the inflation of the super account will also move as well. So if we're calculating $2 million now, it could be $3 or $4 million.
Yeah, but you have to understand that inflation transfers value from the lender to the borrower.
Okay,
and
but
the super fund's not a borrower; it's a lender.
But to this point, I can't see the government allowing people to walk around with $2 million in their pocket, because what would that do to inflation? What would it do to inflation with all these millennials walking around with $2 million, putting it on property and buying all the cars and all buying boats, whatever it might be? That's if inflation is a problem now, inflation is going to be a hell of a lot worse when those people start getting
I think I know what you're asking.
A lot of money. I mean, okay, the current generation, people in their 60s, they didn't have compulsory superannuation for most of the time that they were working. Maybe people in their 50s now, maybe they'll be the first ones to come online where they've had a full working life.
Well, I know, like I spoke to one of my best mates. I said, and he's got a good job.
Yeah.
And I said, how much you got in super? And I think he's 58 years old.
Yeah.
He's up to 1.3.
Okay, so he's got 1.3 in a few years' time.
But only been in work. He's only been playing super for 30 years.
Yeah. So the government's talking about how hard it is for the younger generation to get into housing. Yeah, it's a hell of a lot hard. I mean, it is really hard. But what's going to happen when all these people start getting access to their super when they retire?
Yeah.
And they've got all this money to invest in investment property. I mean, they're probably not going to want to with the capital gains tax rules. But I just don't see the government allowing people to have this money. I reckon they'll get their hands on it some way.
Look, I share your apprehension, but I think that it's quite a reach to expect that your generation will be different in retirement to mine, even. And what my generation did was that they made sure that they spent enough of their super to get a part pension and the health card.
Okay.
And that was considered good accounting advice. So what if they had 700 grand in super, they spent 300 grand buying a bigger house and renovating it or something.
What does that do to inflation?
Well, what does it do to the government? Because government's still got to keep on paying pensions. The whole idea of super was to get people away from pensions, to get them off pensions.
Yeah.
And as a policy, it's been a dramatic failure because people are still on pensions.
Well, okay,
they would say that instead of being on a full pension, they're on a part pension. Or, for example, if they've got...
Chalmers would tell that lie for sure. But also remember that 22% of baby boomers do not have their own house. They get rental assistance.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's a lot of poverty in my generation. Yeah.
Let's go back to this article.
I still think quickly. I still think Labor won't touch superannuation. And you'll disagree with me. Labor won't touch superannuation till Paul Keating dies.
No, well, this is good because this ties into my question. If Labor's not going to touch it, will One Nation touch it?
Oh, yeah.
They will, but within reason, I think.
What will they do
It's going
to
to be
it?
a big issue.
If you've got 300,000 in super and you're age 40, they might say you can take 10%.
What about this one, Richard? John the Boy says, I'd rather be able to buy a house now than have a couple of million in super when I've retired. Can't these politicians get that?
Apparently not. They're totally fixated on their own narrow views on all subjects. And the thing is, you don't have a treasurer like Keating or Costello that can weave a narrative that includes all parts of the economy and talk about it in a holistic way.
But to John's point, if you remove compulsory superannuation, now suddenly people are getting 12%.
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah,
I'm
but
talking about giving people access to borrow from their own.
Yeah, that's okay. We've made that point, but now I'm talking about John's point.
Okay.
Okay, so we remove compulsory superannuation and people start getting that extra 12% in their pay packet to be able to save for a deposit or what have you.
I'm going to nitpick with you. I didn't say remove compulsory super. I said the rules
John the
around
Boy,
it.
I just read John the Boy's comment. That's what he's talking about. We've moved on about from all the rubbish that you're going on about. I'm now talking about what John the Boy is talking about.
Well, so am I. You can still have access.
You want me to read it again?
Yeah.
I'd rather be able to buy a house now than have a couple of million in super when I've retired.
I agree with him. But he
wants
that
that money in his pocket now. My point is, what will that do to inflation? If all these people, I mean, in fairness to superannuation, it is a bit of a handbrake on inflation now. I mean, what it won't be ultimately.
If suddenly 300, for example, if
it's compulsory saving, I agree.
If 1 million people decide to take out $10,000 each from superannuation
and spend it,
that's
going to have an effect.
That's $100 billion, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's going to have an effect. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But if they save it or they reduce debt, then it also has an effect.
Do you force, and this might sound mean, if you're saying I'm struggling with the home loan, what the government or what the superannuation fund will say, we'll transfer your $8,000. Well, how much do you want to transfer to your bank?
Say 50 grand.
Okay. We'll transfer that $50,000 out of your super account straight into your home loan.
Yep.
Without you looking at it.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
No one has called in to yell at Richard, so I have to take over that.
That's okay.
Good.
It's your show.
Innocent Bystander says, cannabis to Studio 2 stats. Guess that might be to calm us down. All right, well, let's move on away from the economy because we're getting all hot and bothered by it.
We can stay on it.
Let's move to this. Okay, so man charged over Pauline Hanson death threats.
When was this?
This was 2 days ago.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So a Perth man has appeared in court accused of threatening to hunt down and kill One Nation leader Pauline Hanson in a series of alleged vile Facebook posts. Anton Raymond Illich, 47, was charged in July with 2 counts of using a carrier service to make a threat. It was not revealed Miss Hanson was the subject of the alleged threats until he fronted the court in Perth on Friday, the ABC reports. So, I mean, this is a serious issue for any politician or anyone, really. We don't want to see death threats for anyone, but it looks like politics has really become polarized.
Yep.
And we've seen politicians shot and killed in other parts of the world. The UK is an example.
Very recent.
Yep.
So, do you think it'll happen here eventually?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I got a funny feeling you might be right, mate.
I mean, we've escaped it so far. I mean, we've had prime ministers being able to walk the streets, walk through shopping centres and stuff like that. Without much escort.
I wouldn't trust them now. I don't think that.
I don't think you can do that now.
I think you're right.
I mean, we don't.
I know. See, a couple of times I've been watching Pauline's videos and press conferences. There's a bloke there all the time.
Yeah.
In the background, I think that's her personal security guard.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt they have AFP.
I know. When I'm probably talking out of school here, Barnaby did that rally in Australia Day at not Hyde Park, the one next to Central Station. What's it called again?
Belmore Park.
Belmore Park.
Yep.
No, on the Redfern side. Is that Belmore Park?
Oh, that's Prince Alfred Park.
Prince Alfred Park.
Yeah.
I spoke to one of his staff and I said, gee, who's that tall bloke and who's that bloke? He said, that's AFP. Really? I thought, gee.
Do you think all politicians on all sides of politics are concerned about this?
I've got no doubt about him. Mate, when they talk in Canberra or have their dinners on a Wednesday night around Kingston, they'd be talking about that.
What's fueling this, though? Because, as you said, we've been able to avoid it up until this point.
Social media.
It's inflaming people.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's very divisive. Yeah. But also the politicians themselves. They're
So I think a senator, an unknown senator, is safe because he doesn't really. That person wouldn't say too much. But it's probably those 10 or 15 politicians. Well, for example, when I was at Fairfield to helping Matthew Camansuli at the McMahon by-election, McMahon for the federal election 15 months ago, there was 3 security guards for Chris Bowen.
Yeah,
there should have been 10,
and they had.
Well, John the boy says in jest, our politicians aren't worth shooting. So
I agree too.
But there was 3 of them, and they had guns, and you can see their guns was quite at the front of it. You can see it
ready for action. Yeah.
There was definitely 3 there.
I want to see a prosecution. I want to see someone do jail time for that.
Well, John Newman's murderer is still in jail at Lithgow.
Yeah.
That's over 30 years ago. When was that? 1991, 92, or somewhere around that time?
I could have been earlier, man.
No, I think it was early 90s.
Will that stop it, though?
I think it will. I think
if you get some prosecutions, it'll slow people up.
I think it will, yeah.
I mean, I know that I can't say the sorts of things that I'd like to say.
There would be state. I think every premier would have security guards and maybe some senior. For example, if there's a controversial policy come out, I think police would upgrade that security. That would and they could see, and feds would see, or their staff would see on their social media feeds. AI would say, look for critical words of I want to kill the bastard, or I want to some
bury you, hunt you, all that sort of stuff.
Some critical words like kill or murder or stab or some 25 key words. And AI would get it done in 5 seconds.
I just can't imagine going to a candidate forum or something like that and having someone threaten a sitting member of parliament. Oh, maybe I can remember something like that.
Yeah, I know. You just remind me.
Here he is on his soapbox. All right, let's move on. Well, tell me, Sam, about One Nation. How are they travelling? We did see some reports recently that they might be sliding in the polls and losing some
it's
ground.
bouncing up and down within the margin of error.
In Victoria, not federally. They're rock solid at 30 plus.
If you go to Poll Bludgeon, it's got an average polls in Victoria since the start of the year, and it's still hovering around 22%.
Okay.
Yeah. And that means they might only win 2 or 3 seats, I think, deep down.
Well, it looks like they're still gathering steam. I want to bring that. I think we've kind of alluded to this or discussed this a little bit because we knew about it. But Craig Kelly has made this post on X, and it's quite a lengthy post where he's talking about One Nation policies. But at the end of it, he's got this here. His brand new, reacclaimed One Nation membership card. So Craig Kelly's back in the One Nation fold, despite leaving the party after he briefly was a member.
It must have been on bad terms then.
Well, I mean, he did have some words to say about the party when he left, but he's back now.
But it must have been too bad to let him back in.
Unless he's just forced his way in.
Not as if some other people would let back in.
I think they just offered him a really good deal. It's like, you come with us, you can have Hughes back. We'll back you.
Well, if I put a remark on there, it should be there on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a
he's running the seat of Hughes, and guess who liked it? Craig Kelly.
Yeah, right. I've got a comment here.
I'll show you after the end.
I've got a comment here that said, "Good on Craig."
Yeah.
So, all right.
Who's that from?
I can't pronounce it.
He'll have to work harder because he'll have to.
Shinhua.
Yeah. He'll have to work hard because his electorate from 6 years ago has changed a lot.
I think it'll be just as friendly as it was.
I don't know about around.
You've got real doubts over the west side of the Georges River, but I actually don't think that's the critical area. Not for him.
Ooh, that means he's got to get 50% on the.
Do you think?
Side.
Do you think this just shows that Craig Kelly is desperate to get back in there?
I'd say motivated. He doesn't want to die quietly.
But he's willing to go back to a party he's already left. I mean, he's hot. How many parties?
it must
has he
have been-
I
been
don't
in
think
now?
it's about the party. I think it's about the parliament.
He's been in the Liberal Party. He's been in the UAP. He's been in One Nation. He went to the Libertarians, and now he's back to One Nation.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like he's just trying to find a way in.
Well, I mean, just because you're making out that he's politically loose doesn't mean that he's not motivated.
No, he's motivated, but I mean, there might be other
There
motivation.
is one thing he.
I mean, you're trying to insinuate that he's a bit of a tart. Well, yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
I don't think he'd deny it.
I'm just saying he wants to be in Parliament, and he's trying to find any which way of being able to do that.
Wasn't it great that someone actually values going to Parliament as opposed to all the clowns that are there that have placed no real value in it because they think they're so important?
Does he take the punt that he'd be number 2 on the Senate ticket in New South Wales?
Oh, I really
Because they're
don't.
polling 26, 28, and that's enough for 2 senators.
He's not going to be offered.
Would Barnaby allow Craig Kelly to be his number 2?
I don't think so.
He
might
That's what it would come down to.
Who's number 1?
Barnaby.
Barnaby.
Well, then again, you're a good point because if Barnaby runs in New England, that's
Barnaby's running in New England.
I don't think. I think I know who will replace Barnaby as number 1.
Holly Hughes.
Correct.
Oh, that would be a mistake.
I think Pauline loves her.
Well, yeah, it's just mutual admiration.
And
society.
a trusted person who knows how the Senate works. That's what she wants, some experience up front.
I can see the logic in it. But I just think.
Or the missing what Holly does she run in Macquarie Street? I don't think she will. That's my opinion. But
I think Holly should run in Macquarie.
I don't think she's.
And take Macquarie for One Nation.
Macquarie.
The electorate of Macquarie.
No. I think she'll want a spot upstairs in Senate.
I'm sure she will, but I wouldn't let her have it.
Right.
I'd say get out on the ground and do some work.
Mm. When you clear it,
I'm meaner than you.
Right. Now, let's talk about Victoria a little bit
Yeah.
because obviously there's an election coming up very, very soon in November. It's going to be upon us before we know it.
That's right.
One Nation announced its leadership team, its upper house team, and started announcing some of its lower house candidates. Warren Pickering, who's someone that Sam and I know fairly well.
I'm very impressed with him.
You like him?
Yep.
How did you think he went the other day?
I think he's shown up very well every single time. I mean, surprisingly well because he actually has enough presence and seemingly enough confidence to actually hold the floor, and that's what I look for. Yeah.
I reckon that over the next 3 months he'll be a better politician in 12 months' time than after going.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Well,
because he'll be getting a lot of media. Because they want to get rid of, put One Nation down in Victoria.
Yeah, look,
they have to go through Warren.
That press conference that he did, I think it showed one thing. It showed 2 things for me. One, he was very good at delivering short, sharp messages that the media will love. Now, one of the things he said was, "It's going to be a November to remember," and he said, "We're ready to govern." I think that's it. He's given the media a headline. The one thing that you want to do is do the work for the journalists. So if you can do the work for the journalists and give them a headline and give them an article, they'll write about you.
Yeah.
So that's something that he did very, very well. Another thing as well, I mean, he was put in a pressure cooker situation. He's suddenly the leader, and he's been the leader down there for a long time, but he's actually he's been announced now. He's got the media there. He's got the cameras in his face and the lights are on him. You can see that he was sweating. So I'm assuming he was nervous.
Yep. It's only human nature.
He's got Pauline Hanson standing right next to him, right? And he got a little bit forceful at a point. And that's when Pauline Hanson stepped in, and you could see that he stopped himself, he checked himself, and you could see that the gears in his head were moving, and he was analysing his performance. And I think he will only analyse his performance, looking back at it as well. But the fact that he's able to do that on the run, I think, proves that he's probably
he's got
the right man for the job.
He'll be better. He'll be over the next 3 months. Be better for the experience.
Yeah,
and if he sticks at it. I don't know him running in a low.
Well, John the Boy says Warren is really solid. I reckon he'll take Pakenham.
You think
Pakenham?
Yeah. I think he'll win Pakenham, John.
John reckons
tight. That's going to be a tight race.
Can you tell us about Pakenham? Because you would think that the easier route would be in the upper house, and if he's the leader,
they might get 2 seats in Eastern Victoria.
Yeah.
But I don't know what he's trying to do there.
I don't think it's his decision.
Well, yeah, I could say something, but I won't say it.
I think he's trying to lead from the front because they've got to win seats in Western Melbourne and Southeast Melbourne.
Yeah.
Otherwise they won't chuck out Labor.
Problem is the primary vote. The primary vote of One Nation is about 22%.
Yeah, but I'll bet you it's much more concentrated in certain areas.
I'm only judging what happened in South Australia.
I mean, I don't think One Nation will poll very well in Melbourne's inner city. Negligibly.
Would you think the eastern suburbs of Adelaide, that One Nation would poll average about 10%?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have told you that before the election.
Well, I would.
The seat of Adelaide, those couple of seats on the eastern suburb around Norwood and Kensington Park.
Yeah. What was much more interesting was where they polled well over 25%.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like you're saying, but we're talking about a range.
Point. That's my point. Is that it's a very concentrated vote.
Well, I'm talking.
It's not spread out over the whole state.
In South Australia, the range was from 10% or just under 10% to 38.9.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I'm trying to say that 22%. Where's that going? There's going to be, rules of arithmetic will tell you there'll be some seats that are going to be polling 35 to 38. Where are they going to be? And I don't know where it's going to be. I'm hoping that they know where they could be. I don't know. Have they done internal polling?
There's still a whole election campaign.
And they're going to run a mother.
And it's like, Victorian voters are going to take a lot more time to wake up to what they've been given.
And I think I think at this moment, I might be wrong, Libs will win. And don't be surprised if they only poll 32% and do an elbow where every preference flow will go their way.
Yeah, I think that'll be absorbing. Yeah.
They'll want Labor, they'll vote.
Right.
Some Greens will say,
okay. Believe it or not, we've had a caller.
Okay.
Let's bring him on. John the boy.
Hey.
How you going, mate?
Hey, gents. Again.
John.
Good to see you. You're down in Victoria. You can be our Victorian correspondent for this election, mate.
Yep.
Tell us what's going on down there.
Well, I reckon especially in a place like Pakenham, right? It's outer suburbs, and like a lot of people have had to move to that sort of Officer Pakenham area recently because that's the only place.
Sorry, John. As Officer, that used to be farming, but that's all development now, is it?
Yeah. Especially so more Pakenham. But Pakenham is further out than Officer.
Okay.
So it used to be farming a couple of years ago. So where I live in Cranbourne, that used to be farming about 10 years ago. And that's when we moved in.
A couple of people lived out towards Clyde, and that's all been built out.
Oh, yeah. No, Clyde is a metropolis now compared to what it used. And now Officer and especially Pakenham, they're very much built up. And people had to move out that way because they can't afford to get housing. So I think that One Nation have got, like you're saying with the percentages, right? They're only polling at 20-odd%, but that's spread out across the state. It's more concentrated out of metro, I reckon. So I think Warren will have a good chance of getting.
I thought it'd be more higher around up the Murray than that southeast.
I think they'll do well in the western suburbs because the western suburbs have been bad for a long time. Labor have neglected the western suburbs for a while, but I reckon the southeast suburbs, especially towards that sort of Officer Pakenham way, even towards Traralgon, I reckon they'll do well down there.
I think I'm pretty confident they'll win Morwell.
Yeah, I think that's a safe bet. I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up, Sam. No one cares about these. John, what did you want to say when you called in?
Well, I was gonna put my 2 cents on that, but I'm also running. We're gonna have candidate forums in all 8 upper house seats. So I'm doing it with the Australian Christian Lobby, Family Voice, which I'm their Victorian director, and then the YCFC. So we're holding 8 of those. And
are they going to be in person, or are you doing those online?
Yeah. No, those are going to be in person. And so we're going to have all the One Nation upper house candidates are going to come. We're going to get as many of the Liberal ones that are going to come. We'll have the Family First ones. They should be there.
Can you tell me, have these we know One Nation started announcing their candidates. How about the other parties? Because I heard that the Labor haven't announced some candidates, Liberals haven't announced some. You're telling me, Sam?
They've been in the real safe seats where it's a less priority.
What about parties like the Libertarians or Family First or some of the other ones floating around?
I've seen a couple of campaigns popping up here and there. I saw one libertarian one the other day on my feed. I'm like, oh, what's that? How's that happening? But Family First, they've just started announcing their upper house candidates. I think they've only named one, and that's their party leader for Victoria, Jane Foreman. She's great. She's going to be speaking at Joel Jamal's event on Thursday night that I'm going to go to.
Are you surprised Are you surprised she's running in the southeast and then the western suburbs?
No, because she lives in the southeast, so that's just natural for her.
Fair enough.
So yeah, she just knows all the people down here better.
John,
but yeah,
tell me this. Yeah, I've got a comment here from David, and hello, David. Yeah. What is the likely outcome for Moira Deeming? It's a long shot, but I could see her following Sarah Gaiman joining Family First.
No way. Like she's disendorsed, so she's running as an independent. She's not going to make it. There's no chance. And even if she joined Family First, she wouldn't make it either.
So what happens to her?
She's running Western Metro, is she?
I think so, yeah. She's got no chance, 100%. It's really sad to see. But I think the stuff
she burned her own bridges that time. That was silly. You know, whoever advised her to do that.
Look, the last one was a bit cagey. I think she should have just let that go. I think you have to pick your battles. Whether she was in the right or wrong, I think you have to pick your battles, and that was not the one to pick. And I think I think that was the long end of a saga that's been going on for a while. Like she did really well with the women's rights stuff and the neo-Nazi rallies, but I think it was just too much for her. And I think I've been hearing from some people that it's been taking a toll on her personally. And so this is probably a break that she's probably going to need. But she's going to stick it out to the election. She's going to run. But I think it's really good to have her in politics. But I think for her sake, it's probably best if she takes a break. And I think that's going to happen.
Coming back to Warren, do you really think he can win Pakenham?
I think so because I haven't looked at all the polling recently, but from the people I talk to all the time, even today at church, because I was talking about the candidate forums, one person came up to me and whispered like, "Oh, I'm going to vote for Pauline Hanson," and there's lots of people like that all over the place that they won't say it publicly, but if you're talking in the right conversations, more and more people are saying, "Oh, I'm going to vote One Nation," or they're going to consider them as One Nation. But there's a lot of people like Dave Hughes, is that his name? The comedian guy.
Yeah, who
is still voting Liberal. So I think that's probably a bit of the problem. But I think as long as they preference each other, as in people that are voting for them, as long as both of them are above Labor in all the Conservative voters' preferences, then they can form a coalition after. Neither of them are going to win majority. It's either a Labor minority government or they form a coalition and they take.
I got a funny feeling that at the moment, I might be wrong, but I still think the coalition win a majority.
Oh no, I don't think so.
Well, if they get 34% like Albo did, and if every preferences go their way, they could win 60% of the seats. They could be on 58, 50, 56 seats.
I guess it's possible.
Theory, isn't it?
Huh?
Yeah.
I know, and things can. Labor going to run one negative campaign, so that's got to run out itself.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ben Carroll's announcing he's going to have 10 new free dental clinics in Victoria. That's a great strategy for winning back votes when you're as a country we're $1 trillion in debt. So imagine.
Don't you think it'd be better concentrating on filling potholes, not teeth?
You would think so. I'm so sick of the potholes. It's ridiculous. I'm not even joking. Like I avoid some roads that are quicker because they have potholes in them. Some of them are so big they're like half of the lane.
I saw that stuff a couple of weeks ago on the news up here. Like 30 cars break down on the Bass Highway.
Yeah, exactly.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, people at work are taking photos, putting in the group chat saying, hey, look out for this pothole so you don't hit it. We have to memorize where the potholes are so we don't run over them. It's insane. It's actually crazy.
It's Banana Republic stuff.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And then the Liberals are promising that we're going to bring back like the rubbish bins being emptied every week.
So I take it for granted up here.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even know that was a thing at any point. I've always known that. The recycle bin goes out one week, the rubbish bin goes out the opposite week, and we get the green bin that goes out every week. I thought that's all. That's always been like that, but obviously not.
John, tell me this.
Only in Mexico, mate.
John, people say that One Nation support anywhere in the country would likely be the least in Victoria. They say Victoria will be the weakest state for One Nation, but I'm about to read an article that's talking about how it might be a three-party race in Victoria with One Nation, the Liberals, and also Labor. What's your view on the ground there? You said like people were coming up and whispering that they're going to vote for One Nation. Can you see it happening where One Nation does pick up a host of seats and maybe does become or gets into a position where they have to form a coalition government with the coalition?
I think they can get into that position. They're very confident, right? I went to that event where they had the protesters out in front shouting. I actually walked into the protest by accident because I was a bit late. And
thinking East Hawthorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was funny watching all those people shouting about nothing. And one person had the non-binary flag out. I'm like, what does that have to do with Pauline Hanson? Anyways, regardless, I think if they do, I think they'll be the minor, like the minor
junior
party.
partner. Yeah,
the junior partner. That's what I mean.
They won't get a cabinet. They won't get a minister.
No, definitely not. I don't think so. I think,
and they don't want it either. By the way.
Well, they're inexperienced and they've got to learn the ropes. Yeah.
Well, the main point is that if we have control of the upper house, if the Conservative vote has the control of the upper house, then we can stop the bad legislation from the lower house, and we can just work our way through the lower house in the next election.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting. With the abolishing of the group voting ticket in the upstairs now. Be interesting what the fifth spot. Be interesting what sort of quota there'll be to get in.
Yeah.
I reckon some seats you might get half a quota to get in. I might be wrong. It depends what the primary vote of the Liberal.
We're in uncharted territory. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
I think so.
There's a lot of theories out there, but
I think what's going to be fun is watching One Nation or Liberal people get elected with Labor Party preferences. If Labor comes third,
that'd be really
that's
interesting.
going to be fun to watch.
But the problem is what's going to be Labor Party primary vote in the southeast and stuff in the western suburbs. Yeah,
I think it's still going to be it's not going to drop much from what it is across the state because there's a high immigrant intake, and I saw that I was only on the polling booth Sorry.
Isn't there a high immigrant vote isn't there a high immigration area, immigrants in Pakenham?
Not in Pakenham, no.
Pakenham is
closer in.
No. It is closer in. It's sort of Narrewarren, Cranbourne, Berwick, Clyde, but Pakenham and Officer is where all the regular, where the OGs are all moving to. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Now, John,
and there's a lot of tradies there.
Okay. All right. Sam, this is you're having a personal conversation with John. There's a whole bunch of this podcast goes to all countries around the world who have no idea about these
local issue,
local little areas of Victoria. So important they are to you and maybe to John. No one cares.
Fair enough.
We're trying to hold an audience here. Now, John.
Yeah.
Hopefully you do keep us informed about the Victorian election because we are interested in a macro sense, not a micro sense of what's going on in Victoria. So hopefully you can update us as we go along closer to November. But for now, tell us more about these forums that you're going to be doing. How, if people want to come along and join in, how do they find those?
Yeah, for sure. So the easiest way to go is if you go to our socials on Instagram and Facebook, you'll find a link on it'll probably be our most recent post. But they're going to be held at night. They're going to be held at churches, and it's going to be from like 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So real sharp and short. We're going to let them speak for a couple minutes each, but the main part of the night is going to be Q&A, where we're going to ask you guys to send in your questions. And so that's going to be the main section of these candidate forums. We're going to be making sure we're putting their feet to the fire and asking them the questions you're concerned about, whether it's economy or social issues, housing, whatever it is. And so, yeah, we're going to have 8. We've got 7 organised right now. The first one's actually going to be in Pakenham, believe it or not. So I think Warren will probably be there, and the upper house candidate in that area, I forget who it is. But yeah, we're going to have One Nation candidates, Liberal candidates, Family First, Libertarian. I think David Limbrick is the main one. I don't know if other seats, but actually we've got in the southeast metro, we've actually got a Labor candidate coming too. So that's a shock, but yeah.
One final question, and this is from David. He says, how are the Greens going in Victoria? Will they gain or lose seats?
I think they'll probably remain steady. I don't think they're going to gain or lose.
I think they'll win that seat in Thornbury around there. What's that seat again? Brunswick. I think they've got Brunswick. Yeah. What's that seat that Kate Fianopoulos has got it?
Oh,
it's right next to Brunswick. What's the next seat?
Northcote.
Northcote.
Yeah.
I think the Greens will win Northcote, and they could win Pascoe Vale too.
I don't think they're going to pick up too many. I don't think they can.
I think they'll win. I think they'll win Paran. They'll get Paran back.
Well, they're not. They're not. Paran. I don't know about Paran, but they're not getting any media time at all. It's all just One Nation, Liberals, and Labor.
They don't need that. One thing the Greens do, they do work hard on the ground.
Yeah, okay.
In their dung holes, they certainly.
Now, John, we're going to let you go, but this is your one and final opportunity tonight to give it to Richard. Do you have it?
Just give up your libertarian ways, Richard. Just become a Christian like Stephen will be.
The only party that wouldn't throw me out. Every other party would throw me out. So it's like they're the only ones that'll keep me.
So you're saying they're the broad church, are you? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying that we, as a party, we're the only party that embraces dissent rather than suppress it. Every other,
so you're into diversity. You're into diversity, inclusion. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
So I missed it, John.
He said you're into diversity and inclusion.
I'm definitely into tolerance and inclusion, not diversity.
Tolerance
diversity
has got us where we are, but anyway,
else.
That's a conversation for another day.
All right, we're getting off track. Thank you, John, for calling in. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks,
calling
guys.
soon, mate. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good night.
All right, bye. Okay, all right. Let's get back on track. All right, I want to bring up this article, and I'm going to read this. It's a bit of a lengthy article, but I think I'll get some good reactions from you two from it. So this was in news.com.au, written by a guy called Rohan Smith. It says, a 3-horse race, how One Nation is challenging unwritten rule for first time since Federation. So it's talking about how One Nation is going to be – you've read it already? Yeah, it's going to be a 3-horse race in Victoria. So I'm going to go down a bit about halfway through the article here, and it says this week Victorians were drip-fed a handful of new candidates for One Nation. They include former AFL ruckman John Barnes, a man who played 202 games for Geelong and Essendon and suffered a permanent brain injury from repeated knocks to the head. Barnes's condition was so serious, or is so serious, that his wife in 2018 said it causes him to fly into violent fits of rage that felt like he was going to kill someone. Despite that, he will contest the seat of Essendon. Also coming off the bench for One Nation is Garner Smith, the candidate for the safe national seat of Murray Plains, a man who once suggested he'd be more worried if he didn't go in for a feel after AFL star Dustin Martin allegedly touched a woman's bare breast. The comment led to an immediate backlash, but Mr. Smith doubled down, writing, "To all you triggered, whinging, whining, bleating, bitching, offended losers, instead of getting a skinny soy latte with a twist of lemon, head to your local independent hardware store and buy a bag of cement and harden the F up." So,
well, he's in the Murray Plains is a very because It's the safest, one of the safest seats in Australia for the national parties.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Northern Tablelands in New South Wales.
Okay, well
and the sitting MP is retiring.
That's part of the article. What I want to show is that this election is going to show, and just like the federal election, New South Wales state election, and the Victorian election, there's going to be a lot of heat on One Nation, and there's going to be a lot of scrutiny of their candidates, and this article goes to prove that. So I'll read on a little bit because some of this stuff's pretty interesting, entertaining. Hairdresser Michael Piastrano is also in the mix in Victoria for One Nation, where he goes head-to-head in the seat of Berwick against former opposition leader Brad Batten. His colourful background includes comments he made when running for the Liberal Party in 2022, when he suggested former Premier Daniel Andrews will be brought to justice for the murder of 800 people, a reference to his handling of the pandemic. What's clear to those who study politics in Victoria is that at a certain level, it doesn't matter who One Nation puts up or what they say or how competent they are, because everyone hates the Labor Party.
Correct.
What do you got to say about that so far, Sam?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, the candidate in Secret Harbour for the Western Australian election,
yeah,
he was an ex cocaine user.
Yeah,
and got convicted in London, in England.
Yeah,
and he said, "Yeah, that was 10 years ago, but I've reformed myself, cleaned myself up, and Labor haven't said a word since."
Yep.
Okay.
So people say, "Well, okay, well, I've got plenty of cocaine's."
But in contrast, all the grubs in the Labor Party have never even tried to clean themselves up.
Correct. Yeah. I'm saying that the dirt files will come out, but some people say, well, another thing, you probably find that he's told the One Nation people in Brisbane that had these convictions for cocaine, and they would say, okay, fair enough, we'll still take you.
Yeah.
Because if he lied to them, he might have got disendorsed at the time.
Sure.
But because he told them the truth, as long as you tell the people, as long as they tell you, you got to have, there's got to be no skeletons in the closet. You got to provide everything out there.
Yeah.
If you don't, that's when you're in trouble.
Okay, well, they're obviously trawling through everything that was said by these candidates. So they've actually analysed it a little bit further than that in this article. So Dr. Emily Foley, a postdoctoral research fellow at Flinders University and the University of Canberra, is based in Melbourne. She has been keeping an eagle eye on the perfect storm that has developed in Victoria. Rising crime, a flailing government, and the sense that the public purse has been catastrophically mismanaged are all working to push voters towards One Nation. Quote, "It really is a three-horse race," she told news.com.au this week, and the statistics back up the assessment. A new poll for Victorians, which Dr. Foley was a part of, shows almost half of respondents who voted Labor in the 2022 Victorian election, which Labor won in a landslide, will vote differently in November. So going to be a big shift, apparently, according to that poll. As much as 11% of them will change their vote to Miss Wilson and the coalition, but 13% say they'll vote One Nation. The Accent Research poll found the most pressing reason is cost of living concerns, worryingly for Labor. Just 18.8% of respondents in the poll think that new Premier Ben Carroll and his team are best able to deal with the cost of living pressures. So I guess, guys, has the move to Ben Carroll been a positive move? Has it helped them at all?
There was a poll that came out during the week, and it's minimal.
Minimal. Yeah. Okay, so it's made.
I mean, he's more popular than she was, Jacinda Allen. But it's like, I think people have already made up their minds to a large degree, and they'll probably harden up and shift even more.
As Richo said years ago, when the mob stopped listening to you, you got no chance.
You got no chance. All right, let's continue with the articles. There's a few more good bits in here.
Have the mob stop listening?
If Sam ever shuts up.
I've hardly talked.
You've been talking all
been
night.
grabbing the honest before John.
Shut up. Okay, it begs the question: if Victorians are most concerned about the economy, why are so many turning to One Nation when the party has refused to outline a single policy? Dr. Foley has a theory. Yes, and this is a quote, There's no Victorian specific policies. They're slowly drip feeding candidates, but I don't think that necessarily matters, she said. There's an element of its time compounded by cost of living issues, the scandals around corruption. I don't think it matters whether One Nation has Victoria-specific policies because people are sort of over it.
Yeah.
End quote.
And also, they're not going to be in government. The Liberals are going to be in government, so it's not even really a question. It's like, well, yeah, we're going to elect a few One Nation reps. So what? Yeah. They'll just make the Liberals work harder. That's good. Yeah.
So
why would that be a problem?
So there's a few more things that they raise here where they really start to question some of the things that have been said by One Nation people. First, they target Barnaby Joyce. Now, the article says conflicts eat away at One Nation's credibility. The party that Deputy Leader Barnaby Joyce described as one of the gayest parties in Australia earlier this month can't seem to get out of its own way at times. In South Australia, One Nation nominated Bruce Priest, a man accused of domestic abuse, according to the ABC. They hired convicted rapist Sean Black to run the federal election campaign, a man who a sentencing judge said used violence to dominate his wife, including an instance where he dragged her by the hair from the shower to rape her. And this is a quote from the judge, you told her it wasn't rape because it was your wife. And that was back when he was jailed in 2018. A One Nation candidate who ran for the upper house in Western Australia in 2025, Parimda Singh, had said gay people were mentally ill. And he was quoted in a radio interview video interview by saying, "No one born anything. I blame the parents because parents are too busy." Dr. Foley said, despite the missteps, there's another element working in One Nation's favour in Victoria. One she refers to as the Mark Latham effect. You'd be interested in this, Sam. Yeah. The fact One Nation appeals to the working class, the sort of Mark Latham effect. When you see this number of former Labor votes going to One Nation, it's really clear, particularly in those outer western suburbs of Victoria, for example, that their anger is palpable and they feel really let down by Labor. What you have is a cohort of arguably working class Labor families whose parents and grandparents were Labor voters, who actually never felt a social, political or cultural affinity to the coalition. They could be traditional blue-collar families or migrant families, first or second generation, who would never feel like who would never feel like the coalition would be their sort of people. One Nation is drawing from history. Pauline Hanson's grandfather was a member of the Labor executive, and they've positioned themselves as a sort of new party for those working class folk. So I guess what the article's trying to say is these One Nation candidates and also One Nation leadership, they go out and they make these dreadful, awful comments, but it's not impacting their vote. And it's due largely to what she's saying, and also the man who wrote this article is saying that the anger for Labor is so palpable that they can't bring themselves to vote for the coalition. They have to put their vote somewhere, and it's going to One Nation.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
The thing is, I noticed in Western Sydney 15 months ago, they're rushing on Labor people, and I think in their family tradition is that you die, vote Labor. Yeah. You're not going to vote if you're going to change your vote, you're not going to vote for the coalition.
No.
Yeah.
Because their parents said you vote Labor.
So for a Labor person, it's easier to vote One Nation than it
much
to
easier.
vote
much easier.
Yeah.
And also it's an expression of their anger.
Yeah.
Because they've been betrayed.
The problem is
the best way you can respond to a betrayal is to inflict pain and hurt on the person that's betrayed you.
Problem is that Labor person will vote One Nation, but will they go number 2 Labor?
I think he will.
Yeah. So it's a protest vote, but eventually it will fall back.
It will go back to Labor.
If One Nation's number 1 and number 2, where the preference won't come out.
Yeah.
But then number 4, that will just go straight back to Labor.
So the coalition are still in a world of hurt to a point.
I spoke to a coalition member. We know her.
Yeah.
Oh, her. So. And this person works in Western Sydney. I said, mate, you're going nowhere. They're not going to vote for you. Well, this person thinks eventually it takes time. I said, fair enough.
They'll come back. Yeah, they'll come back eventually.
Yeah.
David, who loves giving it to One Nation, he loves bashing One Nation. David says, Farley, One Nation member for Farrer, was on ABC today with Spears and basically called for similar migration levels as Labor. It has shaken the One Nation supporters a little on socials.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he might go independent. I don't think he'll go independent until after the next election.
Right.
Yeah.
So where was the vetting with this guy? Because
he had such a good CV, they had to take him, unfortunately.
But not either. They don't have to take him if he's going to become an independent.
Well,
it's like it's how they handle dissent. It's like he's got a different view based on his electorate.
That's right.
So he's standing up for the difference in circumstance of his electorate.
The people of Farrer want immigration.
Yeah,
they do because they need their fruit and veggies picked.
That's right.
Right. So
on those 40-degree days in January, no Aussie's going to do that.
I suppose so.
But it's got nothing to do with immigration. That's contract labour that comes in from the South Pacific.
Yeah, but that's not counted as immigration. That's temporary work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like
Do you think that Farley's deliberately saying this sort of stuff to wait for Pauline to kick him out?
No, I don't.
Okay, fair enough.
I think that he's just showing that there's more than one point of view within One Nation.
Okay, fair enough.
Right? And I think that's pretty valid if that's what it is. I'm not sure it is, but I suspect it is.
I think Barnaby would tell Pauline and Ashby, let him go, just leave him alone.
Yep.
Let him spin his stuff.
Yeah, don't react.
Don't react to a point. She put a Facebook post up later on saying it's 130,000 and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but nothing real derogatory. But I just think it'd be interesting what they do, because if that was 5 years ago, he would have been kicked out by now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, if you look at other parties, Liberal and Labor, I mean, they've got dissenting views within those parties. They've got factions within those parties. So, I mean, just having a dissenting view to
my concern about Farley was when he went.
You think he's attention seeking?
Not just that. He voted with the Teals and the Greens on some issues. I thought, you're not that stupid. If you're going to vote on the floor and you can see a Teal and Green sitting next to you,
never make that assumption.
Well, he said it was a mistake, right?
He said it was a mistake, and he is that blind and stupid. I got to tell you,
he's very close to Helen Dalton, who knows exactly what. And she was with a shooter, then she became independent.
Yeah, well,
I might be wrong.
I hope they're very happy with each other forevermore.
All right.
Well, she's very popular.
I want to play.
And they both campaign on water.
I want to play a clip to finish up on Victoria.
Okay.
And this is about the coalition, which apparently Jess Wilson has been gaining ground, or at least winning people over.
She's very good on social media.
Well, I would probably say that at least they're trying different things.
Yeah,
it's great that she's good somewhere. I don't like her.
All right, well, let's play this clip. This is from the Victorian Liberal Party or Coalition.
Remember the $200,000 that Labor spent on pot plants for the suburban rail loop?
Turns out that was just the start of a very expensive taxpayer-funded garden.
And now we've discovered Labor has spent $1.6 million of your money on pot plants and plant maintenance across government offices.
$1.6 million.
It'd almost be funny if it wasn't your money.
In the middle of a cost of living crisis.
We all know money doesn't grow on trees.
But Labor seems to think yours does.
There's at least $100,000 of taxpayer-funded greenery at the North East Link alone.
Yep, that North East Link.
The Big Build project at the centre of the $15 billion CFMEU corruption allegations.
The same project that's blown out by $16 billion. While Victorians have been asking where the $15 billion has gone, Labor have apparently been asking a different question.
Would you like a fiddle leaf fig with that?
This is what happens when a government starts treating taxpayer money like it's growing on trees.
Victorians are doing it tough. They expect their government to respect every dollar they earn.
The Liberals and Nationals will actually respect your hard-earned money and put an end to Labor's waste.
All right, guys, something a little bit different. You think it will win votes?
Yep.
Yeah, on social. Everything.
That's a good ad. That's a really good ad.
I read some Labor people saying that she's very good on social media.
Yeah.
And even I spoke to Giselle yesterday, and he said some of the Liberal stuff they're starting to gain a bit of ground on social media.
I've noticed that the federal Liberal stuff is good. They're putting a lot of graphs out, which we showed before. I think that's good stuff. I don't mind that.
They're still behind. Giselle said they're still behind a bit, but they're improving.
I don't mind that clip that we just saw. I don't think it's going to win votes straight away, but the more people see that,
Grind away,
and it's building exposure, it's building brand recognition, and it's building the personality and the profile of Jess Wilson and her team as well.
State elections are basically presidential.
That's what was really clever about it. She showed her whole team.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not just one person.
No,
and not all of them are up to it.
I mean, the Labor Party is saying Ben Carroll's our man. He's going to lead the government. It's a totally different message.
Correct.
David says this makes me hate them more. John the Boy says half the length and it's a good ad. So, I mean, yeah.
No, I think it's all right.
How long ago? For about a minute, did it?
Yeah, they can always cut it down to 30 seconds.
Well, these days, TikTokers...
They'll have two versions.
David says it will work on the older voters. Young people see that and it's cringe. Well, I mean, maybe at first, but I think the more they see it, they'll start to chip away. Look, they've got to do something, and at least they're trying.
Because they're also trying to take votes off Labor. They're also trying to take votes off One Nation too.
Yeah.
And One Nation is predominantly Gen Xers from anyone born after...
Yeah,
who are 45 and older, which they've got to get back.
All right, we're almost ready to finish up. I want to play one more clip, and believe it or not, I'm going to tip the hat to the Libertarian Party, but only because of their sensational performer in the Parliament, John Ruddick in the New South Wales Parliament. And I honestly believe that John Ruddick is probably one of the best performers in any parliament across the country. And the first thing he needs to do is run as far away from the Libertarian Party as he possibly can, because the Libertarian Party is holding him back. But I want to play this clip. Just watch how
you might get your wish.
I hope so. I don't know where he's going to go, but he doesn't belong in the Libertarian.
I think it'd be welcome anywhere.
Well, we'll see about that. Well, he should be anyway. But just have a look at this, at how much he makes the Premier of New South Wales, Chris Minns, cringe. And thank God he did, because this is an important issue that I've been talking about a lot recently as well.
Good morning, Mr. Premier. In March last year, you said, in a direct quote, "We don't have the same freedom of speech laws that they have in the United States. And the reason for that is that we want to hold together a multicultural community." And you've said a similar thing on multiple occasions. So, Mr. Premier, how can we have any other conclusion than that if we did not have a policy of multiculturalism, we would have free speech?
I don't think one follows on from the other.
Well, you've said it does. These are your words, Mr. Premier. You said, we don't have freedom of speech like they have in the United States. And the reason for that is that we want to hold together a multicultural community. And this was not a one-off, Mr. Premier, and you know it. You've said it on about 4 occasions. So what's the link?
Love it.
Well, it's your question.
Yeah, it's a question to you, Mr. Premier. Why are you saying that there is a link between free speech and the policy of multiculturalism?
I think I was just making the point that in the United States, there's a not implied but specific provision in their constitution that means that despite attempts to introduce hate speech, for example, which many Americans probably agree with, they can't. And it's different here.
Okay, so now do you think if we had a plebiscite on the question of free speech in this state and a question of whether we want to continue with the policy of multiculturalism, my view is that free speech would win easily and multiculturalism would lose badly. So why don't we put that to the Australian people, to people of New South Wales, rather than having it imposed from on high by the state?
He's stealing that from ABG, by the way. Australians for Better Government has been saying that for a long time, and I've said that to him in a meeting in Parliament, but we'll continue.
That's okay.
Good on him.
Putting it out there.
He can give us a bit of credit, but yeah, at least he's saying it.
Yeah, I don't know about the hypothetical question you're asking.
Okay, well, would you support a plebiscite in favour of free speech in New South Wales? Or should you think free speech policy should be set by you, the Premier, or by the people?
It's not set by me, it's set by the New South Wales Parliament. And hate speech laws that have been introduced to stop glorification of Nazis in our community after the worst terrorism event the country's ever had, targeting the Jewish community, I do think are crucial, not just in terms of community harmony. You seem to suggest that it's exclusively in relation to community harmony. It's also in relation to vilification and the hatred of people in our suburbs. And yeah, you've got a right to freedom of speech. You've also got a right to walk down your suburban street without someone screaming anti-Semitic hatred in your face.
Look, mate, I love it. Hats off to John Ruddick. He said all the right things. A lot of the stuff that Australians for Better Government has been preaching for a long time. I mean, these issues should be put to the people of New South Wales and the Australian people. It's not up to the politicians to decide whether we have free speech. It's not up to Chris Minns. It's not up to the New South Wales Parliament. So hats off to John Ruddick. And I loved seeing Ruddick make Chris Minns squirm. And I wish he could have
I haven't
done
seen him
more of
that uncomfortable.
Ever.
Not ever.
Never, ever. So, John Ruddick, I don't know what you've done. You've stepped it up.
And did you see the stress movement with Chris Minns? He was moving towards real discomfort and sort of like real upset, and he was about to go hysterical.
Yeah.
Right? He was suppressing the hysteria and the tears and everything else. He was really busted up by that.
Yeah. David says
I haven't seen him busted up ever. I've never seen him lose composure, control, and serenity.
Because John had him.
Yeah.
He had him.
John had his feet to the fire.
Yeah, good on you, John. David says, I joined Australians for Better Government last week. Good on you, David. Thank you very much. I did see that come through, and we need more people like you to join because obviously we're onto something. I mean, you can see the fruits of what Australians for Better Government has been talking about played out in Parliament. Like John Ruddick's used some of our points and use it to make the Premier squirm, and good riddance because this Premier that we've got, a lot of people sing his praises, including you, Richard. You're singing his praises. He's got a huge authoritarian streak through him and fancy going up in multiple press conferences.
Comes with the personality type. So do you.
Imagine standing up in multiple press conferences and saying that we can't have free speech in this state because of multicultural policies. I mean, it's just terrible.
He's the envy of every left-wing politician in the world because he can do that.
Yeah. John the Boy says, I joined ABG a year ago. So good on you, John. You've also been a good member as well. Look, this is exactly what the people who voted for John Ruddick asked for. And he's delivering upon that. And to think that one little member of the upper house can grill a
state premier
is a good sign of our system. I mean, there are good parts of our system.
He nearly unraveled him.
He almost got him.
Almost got close. It was like he was really close to losing it.
Now, Mr. Buono over there, former good friend of John Ruddick, maybe not so much anymore. Are you going to give him some props? Are you going to say something nice about him?
Yeah, he said he's improved the last 9 months.
Yeah,
since the start of the year.
Yeah,
he's a bit more fluent.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's finally listening to people, I think. And he's probably, I got a funny feeling he's listening to a Greens MP. She was sitting next to him in that speech.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So because the Greens are pretty good on free speech as well.
Some of them are. Some of them.
No, they're not.
Some of them
maybe privately, but I won't say it publicly.
Some of them are capable of being sensible, but they're not big on free speech. They're very authoritarian. I mean, it's an authoritarian party. It's the most authoritarian.
It's a socialist government.
I'm trying to give him something, I suppose.
Well, no, he's going okay. He's obviously listening to some. I think he's probably listening to Latham. One or two other learning.
There was another clip there in estimates where he's sitting next to Latham.
That's right. Yeah, that's part of the crossbench. But government, and then they got the opposition. Then the crossbench comes further down. Look, he's improving. He's improving.
Couple of comments here. David says, "Did anything come of meeting up with Scott Challen from the Australian Lobby Group?" We swapped numbers. Definitely, he's a very nice man. The thing I liked about Scott Challen was that during his speech, and you can watch it at Command the Narrative, he acknowledged some of the other speakers, including myself, including Katie McCallum, and I like that. A lot of people in politics like to keep everything to themselves, whereas he looked like he was willing to acknowledge other people, and he also looked like he was looking for talent and people that he could work with. So I do like that. I did like that about Scott. I mean, a lot of people are critical of him. I mean, that's just politics. I'm sure there's people out there that are critical of me.
He's a member for who? Member.
Scott Challen's not the member of anyone. He's the co-founder of the Australian Lobby Group.
Oh,
He's known as Shallow Hal on social media.
I thought he was one of the members in Queensland.
No, not yet. Maybe maybe one day he will be, but currently he's heading up.
Whisper, is it? Is there a whisper on that one too? Is it?
No, but I mean, he's in the game, so he might get there eventually. John the Boy says, and this is relating to John Ruddick, can he win come his re-election?
He's not. He's personally not up for re-election until 2031.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a long way away. But can he win? Can he get back in?
It's still a long way. 4.5 years to go. Be interesting what the Libertarians poll on in 6 months' time, isn't it?
No, it won't.
They might not be around in 2030.
It'll be a guide. It'll be a guide.
It'll be a disaster. I mean, one nation's just got all the oxygen, and everyone knows that.
Don't you love the Libertarian Party? One of their,
I'm trying to talk it up, and he's just
one of their key members, one of the pillars of libertarianism in New South Wales, just told us it's going to be a disaster.
But, yeah, I mean, whatever the result,
I'm going to clip that.
It's going to be very difficult.
Well, they should have gone with Steve Christou on the upper house ticket. If they'd gone with Steve, he would have got me. Yes, it would.
That wouldn't have made any difference.
He works his butt off.
We've got a few more votes in Western Sydney.
They would have done a hell of a lot better.
Maybe, but it's like that's not the point. The point is, to get 3% of the vote in this election with one nation on the go. It's not going to happen.
Right. We've already pretty much done this.
On my numbers,
if we had Jesus Christ, then we might be in business.
On my numbers, there's still 1 or 2 spots available.
You reckon?
I reckon on those numbers.
All right.
For 2%? 1.5?
1.5. No,
1.5.
2.5. 2.5 will get you in.
2.5, eh?
I reckon. Based on 7 ALP, 5 One Nation, 5 Liberal, and 2 Greens. I reckon they're a shoe in. That's 19. There's still 2 spots available. I reckon 1 spot will go to legalise cannabis. So at least 1 spot available. It could come from, and the problem is I don't think Family First will win because if the Australian Christians run, that will split the religious vote, which will help one the left, the other left. There could be another left wing could come. Animal justice could come into play.
It's very dicey for us.
Well, I just think there's 1 or 2 spots available. That's all.
Look, it's
and what happens to the shooters?
It's not our show. It's a One Nation, Labor show. That's what it's going to be.
And it was also my show, so I'm going to choose to wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We're at the 2-hour mark. If we left it up to Sam, we'd go for another 2 hours, and I'm not.
Joe Rogan for an hour can go for another hour.
What do you want to talk about? Polling and numbers.
We haven't done any polling at all.
There's still a few people watching. You want to put those people to sleep?
My oath.
We can always come back.
Yeah, you guys will be back, and it'll be closer to the election. All the stuff that we're talking about will be more applicable then as it is now.
Well, we're doing election night in Victoria. You want to sit up here for a couple of hours?
Well, we could do that
on a Saturday night.
We could do a live. We can have correspondence. We can have John call in from wherever he is.
1 or 2 more.
Yeah.
Find someone from the Liberal Party. Find someone from One Nation.
You want to do a live Victorian election?
Well, the other people do it.
Yeah, okay.
Why don't we do that?
You'll have results from Poll Bludger, and there'll be bloke on the tally room that will be online. You can catch stuff.
We can get people to lobby to join us,
and we can always look up on our.
There's only 1 spot, so
we can even reach out to potential candidates, have them stream in.
Yeah.
Let's be like Channel 9 or something like that.
That's right.
We can do it. All right. Well, Sam's laid down the challenge. Hopefully, that was worth sticking around 2 hours for, so you can hear that.
And if you want to do it, let's do it. If we don't, don't worry about it.
Hey, you don't have to ask me twice.
It's summer. It's summer, late November.
All right, we've got a yes.
Yeah, we can put another person. If 4 people will be enough.
John the Boy says, "Stole my idea." John, you should be part of this. We'll get you on.
John, find 1 or 2 people down there that can log in for us.
Yeah.
One question finally to you, Sam. Yeah. This is So this is from Innocent Bystander. What happens to legalized cannabis once they legalize cannabis?
The people behind legalized cannabis will change to another name, another activist.
Just to remind everyone, the Libertarian Party wants to legalize cannabis too.
So does One
But
Nation.
we also stand for other things apart from that.
They'll find another left wing issue after that.
All right.
Do you think they'll get legalized cannabis?
You really do want to go for another 2 hours, don't you?
or at least another hour.
You want to go for another hour?
Yeah.
You want to make it 3 hours? What are you going to talk about for another hour?
Well, yeah, we're still
Leave it until next time. We'll talk about legalising cannabis, okay?
Fair enough, okay.
Next time.
You finished?
No, there's some polling numbers. We didn't even talk about polling.
Go on then.
That's all right.
Do you think anyone cares? Go on.
The polls came out in Victoria, in Tasmania the other day.
Okay, what was the poll?
It's One Nation still polling okay in state and federal.
I thought you answered this question already.
No, not Tasmania.
No.
But when's the next Tasmania election?
About 3 years' time.
There'll be a federal election before then.
Yeah. Although the way it is, there could be no confidence motion that they could go to election.
Look, it's right. It's right on the front page of Poll Bludger.
That's exactly
there
right.
we go.
Only came out yesterday or day
Tasmania
before.
EMRS. What's that? The polling system?
No, that's the company that runs it.
Oh, okay.
It's run by a bloke who was going to run for the Liberal Party for the Senate ticket.
Yeah,
and didn't get close to getting voted.
Gosh, look at that on the side there on Bludger Track with the orange line.
That's right.
Just goes from nowhere to.
Go to the Victorian part. Go back.
Oh, hold on.
And go to further up. Go up. Bolt.
This one
Go
here?
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's your trends. Go to all the way down. And you're just looking from the One Nation vote from February onwards.
This is the last column here.
Yeah, that's right.
So they started at 22, and now they're at 23.
That's right. They're averaging about 22 and a half or something like that.
Okay. So it's pretty consistent.
It's pretty consistent from February onwards.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So it's on for young and old. It's on for young and old.
Wait until there's another interest rate rise.
Yeah.
You know?
During the interest rate before November.
Yep. At least one.
You know, I can't believe this. I really can't. David says I've got 30 minutes tops. Innocent Bystander says great work, folks. Thank you for that nice comment. John the Boy says I'll listen to Sam.
Oh, don't say that too hard.
All right, you've done your polling. What else do you want to get off your chest? When was the last time we had you on? Oh, not America. You know what's interesting about America? Like, during the Trump presidency the first time around, I'd watch all his speeches and I'd keep up to date with everything he's doing. Now, I don't see anything about him. I almost forget he's president.
Yeah. Well, I think
this has been a disaster his second
Iran. He got Iran wrong. Iran.
Iran.
Not if there's a regime change.
There won't be.
He'll get his face on Mount Rushmore if there's a regime change.
It's too late.
But it won't happen now.
No.
I think it still will.
Nah.
All right, Richard's given up.
He's given
so we're
up.
going to pack it up.
Okay, I'll give up now.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for sticking with us. Head to commandthenarrative.com and keep up to date with everything that we're doing. And check out my new show on Tuesday. You won't have guests wandering off on that one, on The Pulse. Check out The Pulse on YouTube and travel along. We've got Adam Zara on the show and also Emma Bowman talking about the Bush Summit out in Dubbo this week. So check that out. And we'll see you all next time.